Building with Pablo. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell. All right. My daughter sent me a text, wanted to know if I had any wood left over in the warehouse. She wanted to build a shelf. And so she took some measurements, made up a drawing for me, because if they want me to do something, I need them to make a drawing for me. And so she did that. She sent it to me. I went to the warehouse this morning and I picked up some wood I had. I had this left over from a vanity I made for somebody. I had this one left over from the bed that I built my grandson, DJ. Okay? And I don't remember what this was left over from, but it's there. So I had to measure everything I have, and then I called my daughter up and I said, told her I couldn't give her the 19 inches deep that she wanted. If I was going to make this work, it was only going to be 15 inches deep. And she wanted to be 36 tall, but she only wanted 10 inches in between each shelf. So I told her I can give her 10 inches in between each shelf, but it's going to be 34 and a half inches. So now that we did all the measuring, I laid out what I have. So now I'm going to lay it out and see to put this all together. All right. I have enough wood to build what we finally agreed upon, and now I'm going to get ready to measure. And the reason, okay, I like to use the AccuCut. Has the track, this. Screw it down, it keeps your plate in place. Now again, before you plug in your saw, get your depth set up. Place it where you want to cut. Place it on your track. Make sure your blade's not touching the material. Okay. Barely cut through the table, but I knew it cut all the way through. That's what I wanted. Now, let's cut this thing a little bit. So please double check yourself. It doesn't hurt. Measure twice, cut once. Looking good. This is an amazing product. I like using it because I don't need the table saw. It makes a very accurate, straight cut. The track just lays on top of the material. You don't have to put tape on it. If you're cutting with a circular saw, you know you could scratch the material. And this doesn't do it. You just lay it on top. It has rubber on the bottom, and it keeps it from sliding. And as you run your saw across, it makes a beautifully straight cut. Now I have the extension on this, but you can take it off for smaller pieces, just like this one. I remove it. It's long enough to go through the board and make another very accurate straight cut. As long as you measure properly, mark your material, lay your track down, double check it, and it runs straight through, and then makes a beautifully straight cut. Everything lines up. Alright, now we're going to cut the shelves out of the plywood that I had. Right now we have the material that already had a finish on it. I had enough of that material to do the two sides and the top and the bottom. Alright, now we have to make a longer cut, so I put the track back together. Put my saw on the track. I already had a line down there, so it was easy to just lay the track down and make a nice straight cut. Now I need a smaller one again. I take it apart. Nice and simple, quick and easy. And I'm making very straight cuts. When you're doing small projects like this, you don't have to have a table saw. You can do this and feel very comfortable about making very straight cuts. Everything will line up properly. Okay, now I'm going to make a toe kick, and I had this piece of 1x6 left over. So I have the size of my shelf. I mark it. Then I'm going to cut that length off, but then I'm going to make a toe kick. I want it to be 1.5 inches. You make it whatever size you want. Alright, so I cut this off. I don't use the AccuCut for this because it's just a shortcut. I can do this. Alright. I need the 1.5 inches. So, going to measure it. Now here I'll use the AccuCut. Okay, when you're going to use it on this small piece of wood, the track is a little wider. So you're going to need to put another piece of wood alongside of the one that you want to cut so your track will sit nice and flat. But you hold it on the marks, cut straight through, and there you go. Makes you a nice piece. Okay, that's the toe kick. Alright, I've got everything cut. Oh, except for the panels. Okay, now I have everything cut. So I'm going to start to assemble. I take a side and the top. I'll put them together. I'll pre-drill and put a screw in the top and the bottom to hold it. You could use a clamp, whatever you want to do. Once you pre-drill, then you use these trim screws. I'm using 1 5/8 trim screws because the plywood is 3/4, and I'm using a lot of screws. I'm not just putting it, here and there. This one end is 15 inches and it has 5 screws across. Alright, now I'm doing the other side. Just continue to do this till you complete your box. But pre-drill. You must pre-drill. This is a soft wood. It's a plywood that's soft, so the head drives in completely. And it cinches everything up really tight. Alright, I'm putting in the bottom shelf now. I had already attached the 1.5 inch toe kick, and I pre-drill the bottom, or it's actually the face. And I tighten it up. Look at the gap and watch how it cinches it right up nice and tight. I like working with this material. It's very easy to work with. Alright, I have the box all together. Now I'm sliding in the shelves. I put marks on the top to make sure that I would have the 10 inches on each opening. So first, I grab the shelf. I put a screw in the very top. Okay, do each and every one, pre-drill them, and then put your trim screw in. This will keep the tops of the shelves secured on the lines that you have made. All right, once you have all the ends, just one screw in the end, flip it over, and then you're going to do the same thing on this side. Just do the tops, bring it to the marks that you made, pre-drill them. Once you have those tops in, then you can proceed to pre-drill and screw in the shelves. I'm using 5 on each shelf. She's going to be putting weights on this. I want it to be very sturdy. As you can see, I'm using the 3/4 inch plywood. I made a really nice box frame, putting in the shelves, getting it all screwed off now. This is going to look really good. Okay, I'm getting ready to put the back panel on. So what I'm doing is I am adding glue on the surface of the shelves and the edge of the frame. Just put a thin coat all the way through. You don't want to put too much, but don't put too little. Make a continuous line. This way, when you put the panel on, it's going to add strength. All right, drop the panel on, screw in one corner. All right, then check it on the other side. This way you know that it's square and everything's lining up. Put in another screw, and then you can work your way around. Screw it all down. Any glues start to spread out, go ahead and wipe it off now and get it out of your way. Keep a rag with you, get it all clean. Okay, I'm going to screw this all down, make it nice and tight, and then I'll add the glue on the other section and put that piece on. This is going to add a lot of strength to this. It's not a big piece of wood. It's a thin piece of plywood. But with all the screws going into the shelves and the glue, it's going to make this very, very strong. Okay, get it all screwed in nice and tight. As you can see on the sides, you can see the screw marks on the sides. But I have a pencil that I'm going to fill those with. All right, look at this shelf. Came out really good. With that AccuCut, everything would cut very nice and straight and square. I really like that product. All right, now lightly sand everything. You don't have to go crazy because you're going to stain it. Once you stain it, it's going to raise the wood. Okay, let that dry, and you're going to have to lightly sand it again before you put on the second coat. You're going to need 2 coats at least, because I'm using 2 different products and I'm trying to get the color to look like what the existing or what the other material is. That's not always easy, and you can't tell until it dries completely. So I stain this. Make sure when you stain you have a rag and you wipe it down. That's how you wind up getting stain nice and even. I'm just spreading the material out on it now, just haphazardly, but in the same direction. Okay, now you wipe it down across and circular motions. Now look at that. It rubs it all in and makes it look nice and complete. All right, that was the first coat. Let it dry, lightly sand again, do the second coat. This is the shelf completed. I'm at my daughter's house, ready to bring it in her house. Don't forget to putty the screws. I bought a kit. Well, this was the area that she wants to put the shelf. This is what it looked like before I made the shelf. And here is the shelf. It looks great. Building with Papa. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell. See you on the next one.